Something that can stop stress and anxiety almost immediately. I'm going to tell you that today. Dawn, your natural hormone balancing specialist, come to you from Be Balanced, and we're all about stress management. But what I'm learning is little micro changes you can make throughout the day, or little things you can do, can help keep your stress from building and building and building. Usually when you wake up in the morning, you're pretty good, unless you have a really stressful day, but it starts to build in the afternoon. That's when you start to eat, right? In the early evening, that's when you're eating. And that's usually when it peaks for people. So if we can do some things throughout the day to stop it, okay? So I'm going to give you some tips here. The biggest thing you can do is stop and breathe, right? But we already know that. That sounds so boring. All right, let me give you a quick way to do it, and then I'm going to give you something that amplifies that a little bit more, okay? So breathing in and out, we don't want to do it the same amount of time. So breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4. We don't want to do that. So you want to breathe in for 4, hold for 2 seconds, and then breathe out for 6. You know, that's why they have people breathing in a bag when they're hyperventilating. You want your breath to start to become not just balanced, you want the exhale to be longer, and that evokes what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. Everybody calm down, right? The sympathetic nervous system is when we're under a lot of stress and we're starting to get kicked up, the heart rate's starting to go up, the blood's starting to pump. We don't want that. And that can happen throughout the day, like your boss stops by the office, you get a disturbing phone call from your spouse, just anything. It could just tip us off. We're already on the edge, especially women when their hormones are not balanced. That's what we specialize in at Be Balanced. But having those little, like micro little habits that you can do throughout the day. So the breathing is one of them, okay? So let's take it to the next level. For example, if I told you to walk, you'd be like, well, yeah, I'll remember to walk. I'll try to walk in my neighborhood. But if I gave you a treadmill, you're still walking, but you would probably more likely to walk, not just because it's inside, but just because it's a treadmill. It's there. It's going to remind you, right? You spent this money. So here's what I want you to do. Get a aromatherapy blend that you love the smell of. It could be lavender. There's certain ones that are very, very relaxing and calming. Lavender is usually one of them. It's not my favorite, but it's a very typical relaxing oil. Some people find vanilla very relaxing. Then there's ones that are more stimulatory, like rosemary or peppermint. We don't want those. We want something that's relaxing. And what you want to do is you want to associate that smell with deep relaxation. So when you do your meditation, or if you go home at night, you do deep breathing, you start to associate that smell, and that becomes like an anchor. They almost call it a post-hypnotic cue. So you're relaxed and you're starting to smell that scent, and that scent starts to be associated with the parasympathetic nervous system, okay? Think of Pavlov's classical conditioning with his dogs, right? They salivated when they heard the bell because they built an association. Okay, so then what you could do is put a little bit of that oil on a cotton pad, kind of stick it in your bra here, and let's say, actually a nurse gave me that idea because she was doing our program, and she goes, I barely have time alone during the day, but when I go to the bathroom, I have a couple minutes, so I take some deep breaths. She takes that cotton pad out with the aromatherapy on it, and she takes those 4, hold, out for 6, which are breaths I do right before I go to bed or when I'm sliding into meditation. Believe me, it'll just be a little break, take you 30 seconds to a minute, and it can just calm everything down so things don't continue to build. Now, at Be Balanced, we have a program that's built into our weight loss program, which is called a conditioned response. So we have you listen to really relaxing music. It's your meditation time every day. We actually then give you an eye pillow. An eye pillow you can't use at work or when you're driving, but if you're laying down to meditate, it stops rapid eye movement of the eyeballs. It slows them down, okay? Just slows everything down when you stop the movement of the eyeballs. So it's not just a block light. We give you that, and then we give you our essential oil blend that's already blended. Our blend has been tested by a neurologist to be physiologically sedating to the central nervous system, right? Put you in that, you know, that's parasympathetic, that rest and digest, but it's also psychologically uplifting, like with some top notes of a Lemmy, okay? But the grounding part of it, I'm not a lavender fan, so it doesn't have lavender in it. It's going to have things in it, a little bit of patchouli, but it's going to have things in it that are like more sedating, more grounding, like sandalwood and frankincense, and even benzoin, which has like a vanilla type smell. So this is already blended up with you, and it's already in our Be Balanced signature hormone balancing weight loss program, because key to balancing hormones is stress management. So instead of having you go out there and exercise for, 50 minutes, we're actually going to have you for 20 to 25 minutes do relaxation. So that's a key. So you can do this on your own. Remember the breathing and the essential oils. But if you want to find out more about our thoroughly thought out relaxation program is part of our signature weight loss program. Go to BeBalanceCenters.com. You can do a free hormone assessment to see if your hormones are part of your stress levels and your inability to lose weight, or you can just come in and you can sign up right on there and sign up for a free consultation, which is virtual or in person. At Be Balanced, we take the guesswork out of weight loss and wellness and the guesswork out of relaxation. So we hope to see you soon.